Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, leave us some comments, and share these videos. So today guys, we're going to be working on our Ri40000. We're going to be replacing the front lower ink sump for the ink side carriage. So it'll be the front carriage, we're going to replace the ink sump here at the bottom. Now before we get started guys, if you have any codes or you need some assistance, please call Ricoh Tech Support or start a case with them. You don't want to replace parts or by yourself or tinker with the units. You don't want to avoid any kind of warranties. Okay guys, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to release our carriage towards center of the unit. We're going to go into our screen. We're going to use the maintenance icon and the regular head cleaning to move that carriage over. And then we'll proceed by removing the maintenance station and then the ink sump. Alright guys, so let's make our way over to the screen. Alrighty guys, so to release our carriage, we're going to go to our maintenance icon. And then we're going to go to regular maintenance. And we're going to select the ink and then press cleaning. So what that's going to do, it's going to shift our carriage over towards center of the unit. Mine's saying that it's busy because it's waiting for another process to finish. So once your carriage moves over towards the center of the unit, we're going to go ahead and hold down the power button. And we're going to hold it down for about 4 or 5 seconds. We're going to get this prompt. We're going to go ahead and shut the unit down by tapping on that twice. We're going to wait till the screen is completely off and this light stops blinking. Then we're going to go behind the machine and we're going to turn it off from the back or unplug the power cable. Alright, so now that my unit is turned off and my carriage is towards center of the printer, I'm going to proceed by removing the maintenance station. Now we are going to need a screwdriver. I recommend something about 8 inches long like this one right here. And you want to make sure it's magnetic at the end. So let's go ahead and remove some cables here. We're going to remove our sensor here for our flag. We're going to come around to the right side and we're going to remove this cable right here from this connector. What you want to do is you want to hold this connector nice and tight, hold the cables and pull away. There's going to be a cable mount right here at the end. So we're going to go ahead and just remove that cable mount in there. There's one down here for our waste tube, so we'll take that one out as well. And we're going to remove our waste line here. Now this is going to be a quick release, kind of like an air compressor. So what you want to do, you want to push it back on that pin. And then you want to pull the tube forward. Let me get you guys a better view of that. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to push this part backwards where it's gripped. And then I'm going to pull the tube forward to take that out of there. All right, and that's how we get that out of there. Now, once we got that off, we are going to remove 2 screws, one up here and one down here. That's going to be the screws that hold down our maintenance station. So let's go ahead and take those off. Now once these are off, we're going to carefully pull out our maintenance station. You want to put it on a table and maybe put a little towel underneath it. There is going to be some ink in it. You want to prevent ink from staining your table or the floor, okay? And again, you guys can see here, I'm kind of wiggling this up and down just to get these cables out of there. Alright, there we go. Okay, now that we got this guy off, we are going to have to remove one more connection that's over here. Again, it's going to be a quick release valve. Mine's an older unit, so it's a turn style connection. And then we remove it from the clamp right here as well. And we can put this to one side. Okay, so now that we got that removed, you guys can kind of see down here, that's going to be our ink sump. I'm going to give you guys a better view of that. Let me just move my camera and we'll get that removed. Alrighty guys, so to remove the ink sump, first we're going to disconnect this cable right here. It's going to be the blue one, so we're going to go ahead and remove it from those mounts. One right here, and then one here on the side. We're going to go ahead and disconnect this one. So when you disconnect this, you want to make sure that you bring with you the smaller part of the cable. This larger part with the white connector stays attached to the rest of that cable. We're going to have a waste tube. It's like a little turnstile release. So you hold the back of this, the little white parts, and then you turn this like a little screw, and that comes off. Now you're also going to have 2 more screws, one over here and one over here. Let me give you guys a better look at those screws. So we give you a top angle. We have 1 screw right here and 1 screw over here. Okay, so let me go ahead and remove those screws. So that's one, and that is number two. Now there is going to be a little bit of ink in this guy, so you want to make sure you don't tilt this too much. You don't want to spill ink inside the unit, okay? I'm trying to get the screw out. It seems to be stuck in there. There we go, got it. Okay, so now that I got that out of there, let me give you guys a better view of how I'm going to take this out. So there's my ink sump right down there. I already got the two screws out here at the ends. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull this out of here, okay? Again, the way I'm doing it is I'm kind of churning this towards me as I bring it out this way. Okay, just making sure I don't spill any ink or anything in there. And there we go. And that's it, guys. That comes out. So now, to put this back in, again, I'm going to put this in at an angle like this with my little cover here. And then as I put it in there, I'm going to churn this. So churning that, and that goes in there. So the first thing I'm going to do, once it's in there, I'm going to line it up to the two little screw holes that are right here. So now I got it lined up right here to the two screw holes. I'm going to put those screws in first, and then I'm going to reconnect all my connections, okay? Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead first. I'm going to put those two screws in there. Now, this is a little plastic piece, guys, so you want to make sure that when you feel a little resistance, you stop and just give it a quarter turn more, and that should be enough torque to hold that in place. Now you want to put the screws in loosely at first, and once you got them both in, you want to go back and tighten them. And let me show you guys where the two screws are again. They are going to be the two screws right in here. Here's one, and here's number two. Okay. Next, we're going to put back our cable connections. I'm going to go ahead and guide this through the little holder mounts here. So that's that one. I'm going to reconnect it right here. Now this is a one-way connection, so if it doesn't go in this way, just turn it around, and then it should go in. Okay, put that back onto its little cable holder right there. I'm going to grab my waste tube, and I'm going to go ahead and reattach that. Now this one, you don't want to twist too hard. Once you feel a little resistance, and that's where it should be at. It's going to be about, let's say about 5mm space in between those two right there, okay? So once you feel that it's kind of tight, that is good. We're going to go ahead and put it back into its little mount holder right there. And then we're going to, actually that one doesn't go in there, guys. That's for the other tube. Okay, that one just goes in there. Just kind of tuck it in there. Okay, so we got that one in there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put back my maintenance station. Okay, now to put back the maintenance station, let me give you guys a little wider view of that. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and put this back in here, and I'm going to move these cables out the way so I don't get any ink on them. I'm going to slide it down at an angle and just kind of slide it in there. Now before we put this in, we're going to make sure we line up these pins. So right here you have two pins on this side, okay? So there's two pins here and two pins on the inside. Let me show you the inside pins before we get this installed all the way. So if you look at our maintenance station, there's one pin right in here and another pin in here. There's two pinholes inside here, one over here and one over there. So you want to make sure you get those into the pins. And you want to make sure you line up these two pins here on the outside as well with your maintenance station. That all just kind of folds in place. There we go. Okay, now before we put the screws back in, I'll make sure that's in there all the way one more time. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Next, we're going to put our screws. Now you want to put the screws back in first So that way while you're putting in the cables, you don't accidentally knock this out of place. So you got those 2 screws in there. Again, you don't want to over torque these. Once you feel a little resistance, just quarter turn more and that should be good. I'm going to go ahead and reattach my waste connection here. So just push that in there. Now if it doesn't want to go in with a nice gentle push, what you can do is push this part back and push it in there, and there you go. We're going to put this back into the locking pin. We're going to put our sensor cable here. Again guys, these are our one-way connections. If it doesn't go in this way, flip it around and put it in there. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect my power cable here for my motor. Put that back into its little holder there, and let's not forget to reconnect that blue hose there. That's going to be for our waste ink. Okay, so I'm going to put that back into my valve. Now mine's going to be a twist on valve. Yours is going to be a tip fitting. It's going to be a quick connect or a quick release. By that, you're going to push back on that little circle or ring around it and then pull that tube forward, okay? So that's what that's going to be like. All right, so now that we got all that in there, we're going to go ahead and turn this machine back on. Now just to give you guys a reference, I'm going to show you what that connection looks like on your units. So on your unit, since it's newer than mine, most likely, you're going to have this fitting, okay? To take tubes out of here, what you got to do is you got to push this ring back and then pull the tube forward, okay? So you get 2 fingers, pull that back, and this forward, and that comes out. And then to reinsert it, you push that back in there. Again, guys, to take this out, you get this white ring, you push it towards the end of the connector or backwards, and you pull the tube out. Alrighty guys, well thank you for joining us on how to replace the ink sump on the Ri40000. You guys got any questions, please feel free to call Ricoh Tech Support. I'll leave their email and the phone number in the description below. Thank you guys.